Hi guys, you're welcome. In today's class, we'll be learning how to make a bustier dress with a complete lining. Okay, so here on my table is my bustier pattern being cut out in pieces. I already placed my lace on top of this. If you do not know how to draft your bustier pattern, please check on my last video. I'll be putting the link on my description box below. Alright, so as you can see, I have my front piece here. I've gone ahead to place my lace on them. I also use the hemming gum to hold this down. All right, so here is my lining. Okay, I made this video like around 8 p.m. and then I realized I wasn't having enough paper stay to fuse my lining, so I had to use the little I had with me to just put around my bust part so I can create my padded bustier on my lining. So that is that. I've gone ahead to also cut out my back piece. So here I have my back piece being cut out on the main fabric. I have two pieces, as you can see, with my zipper allowance included, of course. And then here I have my lining as well. As you can see, I've also gone ahead to indicate my dart points. Okay, so the only difference between this pattern that I've cut out is just the neckline. The only difference between this and the last bustier I posted was just the neckline. Aside from that, every other thing is the same. So please go ahead and draft out your own bustier and then come back to join this video. So next, what I'm going to be doing is I'll just go ahead and start joining my pieces. So of course, I'm taking one piece of as my side front and I'm placing that on my center front like so, making sure that my under bust are matching each other like so. All right, so just take note of that please while joining your piece. It's going to help create that perfect bustier. So I'll just go ahead and join that together with 1/2 of an inch. All right, so I'll take that to my sewing machine and join that. I'll also join my back piece holding my that. All right, and then I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like after I've gone ahead to join it. I've also gone ahead to press open the seam from inside. You can see how nice this looks. Okay, so just take your time while joining. After joining, you notch and then you press open your seam, iron them flat. So this is what my lining looks like. You can see even that little papers that I had worked. So next, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be turning our neckline. All right, so we are going to be placing the lining of our front piece on the main fabric of our front piece, right side facing right side, and then you just go ahead and pin down like you see me doing. So we're going to take this out to our sewing machine. We'll sew all the way with 1/4 of an inch. I do not actually make use of 1/2 of an inch. Sew round, and then after sewing, you notch around the neckline, and then you place the sewn part towards the lining part, and then you sew on the lining. I don't know if you get that is what top stitching is. We're going to be top stitching, sorry. We're going to be top stitching after sewing our neckline. Then we'll go ahead and sew the sides, both sides like so, and then we'll turn it over and iron properly. Then this is our back piece. I've gone ahead to hold my dart like I told you guys earlier. See, this is the lining for my back piece. I've held in my dart for both the main fabric and for the lining. So go ahead and do that to yours as well. And then we're also going to be turning the neckline of our back piece. So here what I'm doing right now is I'm placing the right side of my main fabric on the right side of my lining. I'm going to be sewing the neckline, sewing it all the way down to my zip allowance, just so I can get that neat finishing. I'll be doing that for both back pieces. I'll iron them and then I'll bring them back to the table. Okay, so this is what it looks like after I've gone ahead to turn my neckline and my other side. Like you can see how neat that looks. Can you see that? All right, see how neat that looks. I've also gone ahead to iron this and it is looking really beautiful. And of course my padding is also looking really nice. See, how nice I've gonna. Please take your time and iron. I also put in my hemming gum inside of this while ironing, so everything can just lay down flat and look really nice. So this is my back piece. I've also gone ahead to turn the neckline. It's looking all beautiful. And then this is the zipper allowance area. It's also looking all neat. This is also what the side looks like, looking all neat. So please guys, go ahead and do that. If you watch this video down to this point, please do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Okay, so next we're going to be sewing our shoulders. That's for the back and the front. So there are different ways to actually achieve this neat finishing. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm placing my seam. You see where I'm putting this really close as possible so you guys can see. I went ahead to take one piece of my back, placed it on my front, placed the shoulders together, and then I took the lining of the front piece, turning it around to the back piece. I don't know if you guys can see this. If you're confused with what I'm trying to explain, please just watch what I'm doing. Okay, I'll try. I did this separately just so you guys can get what I did. After I placed that together, I pinned it down. Okay, so this is me taking the second part of my back and front piece. I'm placing them close, making sure that it is placed on that stitch I made while top stitching, and then I am taking the lining from my back piece. I'm turning it over to my lining from my front piece, turning it over to my back piece, and then I'm just pinning it down. So I'll go ahead and sew that as well. So here I am introducing my skirt. I've already gone ahead to draft out my skirt. If you don't know how to do this, please you can leave your comment below and I'll make a different video on how to cut our skirt pattern. So what I did actually, how I achieved that, what I did while cutting this is I cut the lining 2 inches shorter than the actual length of the main fabric. This is because by the time I sew down and I pull up, I'm going to have that neat finishing at the hem of our skirt. Okay, so just watch what I'm doing right now. I've gone ahead to take my front piece of my skirt. I've opened it up. I've also gone ahead to take my lining. I've opened it up, and then remember I said I cut the lining 2 inches lesser than the actual length of the skirt. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to be pulling down that lining to match the length of the actual skirt, and then I'm going to sew down by 1/4 of an inch, and then I'll pull it up, sew the both sides, and then I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so I've done that, and I've also gone ahead to iron it. I've gone ahead to hold in my darts, and this is what it looks like. So after I sewed down that lower part, I pulled it up so that the upper part will meet the length of the upper part could meet the waist point, and then I sewed the sides, and that was how I got that. So this is what our shoulder looks like after it has been turned, and you can see how neat that finishing looks. So what I'm doing right now is I am cross-checking my measurements, and I realized I had like excess. Remember when I drafted, I added 1 inch to the actual length of my half length. Okay, so for this back piece, I initially went up by 1 inch to connect all the way to the other end of our back piece, just so we could eliminate that back bulge. But I went down by ½ inch. This is because by the time I also take out that ½ inch to connect to my back skirt, I am still going to be taking out 1 inch, so it is still the same thing. So I've gone ahead to connect that to the end of the actual length of this back piece, and I am just trimming that off. So after doing that, I am cross-checking my measurements, and I'm also trying to take off that 1 inch I added as an extra allowance. Okay, and like I said, I ended up taking ½ inch because by the time I cut and I join, I'm going to be left with just ½ inch to join to my lower part, and everything will match perfectly. So go ahead and cross-check your measurements, and then you are going to be attaching the lower part of our skirt to the lower part of to our upper bodice, sorry. So this is the front part. I am attaching both the front parts together. I'll go ahead and stitch by 1/2 inch. I'll also attach that for the back. All right, so I'll take my skirt pattern. Of course, the zipper allowance is supposed to match with the zipper allowance of the front piece as well, so I'm going to put that in mind. I'll attach it this way and pin it down, and I'm also going to be sewing by 1/2 inch. So please guys, go ahead and do the same thing you see me doing. You can see how everything matches up perfectly. That is because while drafting, I added the same allowance I added for the upper bodies to the lower bodies. So take note of all of that if you want your work to look the same. So after doing that, I've gone ahead to sew all the way. Okay, you can see what I have there for my zipper allowance. All right, I think it was left with 1.5 inch, that's 1.5. okay, so what I'm doing right now is I am placing my tape on my half length. That is why I stitch, which is the 16 inches. I'm going down to cross check my hip measurement. All right, and then I am trying to take my body's measurement. So what I'm doing right now is actually taking out my zipper allowance. So this is the allowance I left for my zipper while drafting. So after turning everything, I'm going ahead to cross check. You can use a straight ruler, you can use a curved ruler to get this, but I prefer using the curved part. If you do not have a curved ruler, you can use your hand to do that. I am just cross checking my measurements, and then I am imputing that as well. So this is for my zipper allowance. Okay, after doing this, I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and I am going to be attaching my zipper to this back piece. So after attaching my zipper, this is what it looks like. All right, see how neat it is. Everything is looking beautiful, is looking nice, everything matches. My darts are matching, my waist points are matching around the zipper area. Can you see that? So while attaching all of this, please take note of all of that if you want to have a nice and good finishing. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to try and create that card ring, that card as they did with the lace in the picture. Okay, so that's what we're trying to create right now. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to create that curve. So this really doesn't have a measurement to follow, or you just make use of, do a free sketch, guys. Take your time, make mistakes, make the curve however you want it. I am trying to follow up what I'm trying to follow up with the design on the picture that we're trying to recreate. So that is why I'm getting this curve. So while doing yours, please do whatever it is you really want to do. So what next what I'm doing is I cut out a long piece of lace fabric. It is 7 inches. The width of the fabric is 7 inches and the length was not calculated. I just cut out a really long strip of fabric. It wasn't even long enough. I had to cut and join. So this is where my joining is going to be, just so I can get a really long fabric. And I needed a really long fabric because I am going to be pleating this. Okay, so this is what it looks like after I have gone ahead to pleat. Mind you, I haven't attached my back piece and my front piece together. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing next is I'm placing the right part of my fabric on the right part of my lace. All right, I went ahead to sew all the way down, and then by the time I flip it over, I'm going to be having it like so, which is the right side out. You see how beautiful that looks already. This is not even ironed yet. So please, while getting the lace, make use of a soft lace. Mine was soft, but it wasn't all that soft, so it didn't really drape the way I wanted it to, but I still got that effect I was looking forward to getting. So what I'm doing right now is I am taking my body measurement. Now it's time to attach the back piece and the front piece together. So I am just taking out my body measurement. taking out the allowance I added to this piece while drafting. So go ahead and do that. My client didn't really want us to be so fitted, although I still gave it a little bit of fitting just so it could have that nice look and finishing. Okay, so go ahead and do the same thing for yours. You can see how neat the inside looks. So if you're trying to achieve this inner neatness, just follow what I did. Okay, so we'll take this to our sewing machine now, and we're going to go ahead and sew it down together. Okay guys, after sewing it down together, we are going to be attaching the sleeve, but I did not show that on this video. It's going to be the next video I'll be uploading, and it's going to be on how to draft out a puff sleeve. All right, I didn't want this video to be unnecessarily long, and that was why I had to cut it where I did. So please, if you want to learn how to draft out a puff sleeve for this dress, just turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload a new video. Please do not forget to like, share, and of course subscribe to this channel. I'll see you all in my next. Bye.